Good morning, everybody. Sectors of Indian economy. We have studied about the economic activities, non-economic activities, final goods, intermediate goods, the three types of activities, that is primary activities, secondary activities, and tertiary activities. All these activities, they generate source of income. They are added to a national income. Now, in that we have gross domestic product known as GDP. What it is, it refers it refers to gross domestic product it is the value of all of all final goods and services produced within a country during a particular year. So we take always the session 2020 to 2021, 1916 to 1917. What steps are to be involved to calculate the gross domestic product is that we can say that the first steps involved involved in the estimation of GDP are as follow. Now, how do we count GDP? Already spoken, it is value of all final goods and services. So first the total production of each sector means primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector, is calculated by adding the value of final goods and services produced of all the three sectors in a year. So we have a year that counts with January 1st of January to 31st of December. But when we talk about this economy calendar, it starts with the 1st April of say this year and ends on 31st March of the next year. first we had, now the second, means then, after calculating all this thing, then the production of all the three sectors is added. The sum, means the total, of which is called gross domestic product, GDP. Estimation of gross domestic product, GDP, in India is measured by central government ministry with the help of various government of states and union territories it collects information about the total volume, that is number of goods and services and their places, their prices, and then estimates the GDP. We have already the total the value of goods and services, and there is a price, and then estimated the GDP. Now to know the total production of in 1 year of the three sector, we count the goods and services produced in that sector in a financial year. A financial year starts from 1st of April of any year to the 31st of March of the next year. This counting of goods and services involves two problems. Now, counting is easy, but still, whatever you do, you have some challenges. If you are going to do something, you have to face some problems. So let's see what are the problems that come in counting of GDP, gross domestic product of any country. There are too many goods and services produced. And so we have a lot of goods and services. So sometimes we may count them and sometimes we may not count those goods or services. So counting them would be a difficult task. The second point we can say that is sometimes intermediate goods are also counted. This is not a final product. The value of final product is to be counted, but sometimes also is intermediate itself is a finished final product but not used with others, it is not finished. It is called double because it is sometimes it is counted with intermediate and final products both. Therefore, it is counted double. So it is called double counting. It will not give the actual figures, means numbers of goods and services produced. These create a problem. These problems can be overcome by adding the value of final goods and services produced rather than the actual number. This means to say that we should not count the how many goods are being produced, final goods are being produced or services are being produced. We should count the total value of final goods only. Then only we can get the actual number, and that actual number will help to resolve the problem of solving goods and services in the Indian economy.